floor is yours.
Thank you, Mike. Well, good morning, everybody. It's approaching afternoon time for me, but when Mike first mentioned to present at 8 a.m. your time, I had the times backwards, and I was thinking it would be 5 a.m. my time. And so thankfully Mike corrected me, and it's a nice, reasonable 11 a.m. In my time. So that was a lot better than 5 a.m. I can tell you. Well, it's my pleasure to be with you this morning. As Mike mentioned, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Zones 26 and 27. I'm actually a charter member of the Rotary Club of Monterey Bay Passport, and we started that club just a year ago. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on May 5th, which was a lot of fun. I was district governor of a different district, District 5240, during the COVID year, during 2020, 2021. And my fellow governor in your district was Naomi Masuno. And so Naomi served and I served together. And so this is kind of reminiscent of our entire year, because we spent the full year on Zoom doing all of our club visits and everything on Zoom. So this is bringing back some of those memories from our COVID year as governors. I live in Marina, just outside of the Monterey area, with my husband, Bill. We're both retired from law enforcement, and we have 2 grown sons, one 9-year-old grandson and a boxer dog, Kona, who's sound asleep behind me. So let's hope that she stays that way for about the next 20 minutes. But usually she's really good when I'm on Zoom. So I am going to share my screen. I have a PowerPoint presentation, and what Mike asked me to do this morning is just to talk about what in the world a zone is, a Rotary zone is, because it's probably one of the best kept secrets in Rotary. So let me just do a screen share. So you should be seeing that very first slide. Yes. And Mike is giving me the thumbs up. Let me just get it where I can see you guys. So we're going to start out with a little bit of a wake up for you. We're going to start out playing a little bit of Rotary Jeopardy, just to get the blood running a bit. So I'm going to just like Jeopardy, I'm sure you've all seen the game show. I'm going to display some answers, and so unfortunately I don't have any prizes for you. So you just get bragging rights if you get the answer right. It's really hard to give prizes through Zoom. But I'm going to give you the answer, and just shout out if you think you know what the question is. So the first one should be easy. 26 and 27. Mike.
What zone are we in?
Exactly. What are our zones? Exactly, because that one I gave you. Okay, then now it's going to get hard. Ready? 30. Anybody want to guess?
How many districts in the zone?
Perfect. Exactly. We have 30 districts in our zones, in zones 26 and 27. Great. All right. 1,700.
How many clubs are in the zone?
Absolutely. Mike has done his homework. Yeah, within those 30 districts, we have about 1,700 clubs. So a lot of clubs within the 30 districts within our 2 zones of zones 26 and 27. All right. 67,000.
How many Rotarians?
How many Rotary members? Yes. Yeah. How many Rotary members within those 1,700 clubs? So you're getting an idea of the size of the area we cover within zones 26 and 27. All right. Ready? 0. This one's a trick question. I'll be honest. This is how many paid staff the zones have. 0. Everybody is a volunteer. So from the director on down, everybody who works at the zone level, just like the district, some districts have like a paid administrator, part-time or full-time, but everybody at the zone level is a volunteer. So we have a lot of folks that volunteer at the zone level, from my position as Chief Operating Officer to all kinds of different positions, and everybody is a volunteer. And we do it because we just really enjoy serving in a different capacity. A lot of past district governors, but a lot of folks who aren't past district governors just that have a different opportunity. So just wanted to let you know that. So where does the zone fit in the structure of Rotary? So this is really what it looks like. So first, our clubs are the top dogs. We exist to serve the clubs. And so we have our clubs. The clubs are clustered into districts, as you know. So you're in District 5000, which encompasses all of Hawaii. Those districts are clustered into zones, and those zones report to Rotary International. And so this is the basic structure of Rotary throughout the world. There are 34 zones worldwide, so not that many of them throughout the world. And they're represented by 17 Rotary International directors. So of those 34, they're all paired into two zones together. We call them paired zones. That's why you see zones 26 and 27 paired together. And the reason they're paired together is so we don't have a board comprised of too many people. And so each paired zones is assigned one Rotary International director who's selected by those paired zones, by the Rotarians in those paired zones. It's actually by a nominating committee. The nominating committee is selected by the Rotarians, and then that nominating committee selects those directors. And so the board of directors is comprised of those 17 directors that represent us, that represent the Rotarians in those zones, along with the Rotary International president, the president-elect, and a couple other people. Each director serves a 2-year term. Our current director is Dan Himmelsbach. Some of you may have seen him at functions or perhaps at your conference or at PETS. When Mike went to PETS, he would have met Dan there at different things. That's Dan. So he's in his second year or about to start his second year. His term was 2023 to 2025. So he's just ending his first year as director, but they start way ahead. They're selected when they're director's nominee. And so by the time they're actually sort of starting they're starting to do work and when they're directors elect, and then they serve a 2-year term as Rotary directors. And I report directly to Dan as the chief operating officer. And so as a director, he sits on the Rotary International Board of Directors. He sits on a number of committees, which is really where the work is done, as board committees. He oversees all of the functions of the zone. And most importantly, he's the direct point of contact for our district governors within the zone. So those 30, not just the district governors, but our district governors elect and our district governors nominee. When our district governors nominee are selected, we're already getting that group together and working with them. And so he's the direct point of contact for all of those governors and governors to be. So we're for training, for whatever their needs are, Dan's their person. Dan's kind of not their boss. They really don't have bosses, but sort of boss. He's their direct point of contact for their needs. This is what the zone looks like. So it is a big geographic area. You can see where you guys are in Hawaii, but we extend all the way through Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Texas, up through Washington and a little bit of Canada. We're actually international. Our zones are. So we have a little piece of Canada up there, all through the Western United States, West Coast, and over to you guys. I really wish I could be there in person, but if I can't be there in person, I can be there in zones. So we're a big geographic zone, and actually pretty diverse zone with the area that we cover. You can see the little red dotted line. Is that coming through on your screen?
Yep.
So that differentiates zone 26 and zone 27. So anything above that red dotted line, it kind of gerrymanders in there. Anything above that is zone 27. Below that is zone 26. So what do the zones do? First of all, we have resources free resources for districts and clubs. That's the main thing we strive to do, is to provide resources to our districts. Oops, sorry about that, if that came through your screen. Is to provide free resources for you, for our districts and for our clubs. We train our district governors, starting when they're district governor's nominee. And so we provide training for them, both ongoing training and once a year at our zone institutes. They start formal training for nominees and elects. And so that's really, really important. And that's actually required by Rotary International. We have a great website that I'm going to show you in just a minute. We provide a monthly electronic newsletter that anybody can sign up for. Mike has my email. If you want to sign up to receive that, you can just shoot me an email and I'll get you on that email list that has great information about meetings, trainings, etc. We provide monthly meetings. Dan convenes meetings with our governor groups and with all of our past district governors as well. To keep connected, to bring them together, to get feedback, to bring them information, to provide training and resources, etc. We convene a zone institute, which is bigger than a district conference, smaller than a Rotary convention. So it's kind of in between there. We usually have about 450 people attending the zone institute each year. And that's the website for it. And we call ourselves, our nickname is sort of the innovation zones, because we've over the last few years, we have really embraced change, and we're not afraid of pushing the envelope and of creating new things and doing new things and changing and sort of being on the cutting edge of change when it's needed. And we're not afraid of pushing back to our eye when we feel it's needed. And Vicky, the director before Dan, and Dan is carrying on that tradition. And this is one thing we believe in strongly, is resisting change is like holding your breath. Even if you're successful, it does not end well. So we really believe in being innovative on our own as a zone when needed. And we love working, with RI, but sometimes we've just done it ourselves when we feel that change is needed or innovation is needed. And these are some of the recent innovations that we've done. And I'll show you these on the website. They're available to you today. Expert Hub is really our big one, and one of the ones we're most proud of. This is something that we created just a little over a year ago, so it's still new, it's still growing. And this is a feature on our website, and actually we're about to sort of morph in the next few months to Expert Hub 2.0. And this is a feature where we've gathered together people from all over our zones that have expertise in particular areas. We call them specialists, Expert Hub specialists. And we've made them available right through the website, where you can go to Expert Hub on the website, and this is available to any Rotarian in our zones. And you can go right to the website, any member. You don't have to go through any hierarchy, any chain of command. You don't have to go through your district. So let's say that Mike or anybody in your club wants to find an expert in a particular international project, or learn more about a foundation topic. You can go right to Expert Hub and find a specialist in that area and connect directly with them through Expert Hub. And so it's really a way of streamlining assistance directly to our districts, our clubs, and our members, instead of having just to go to your district or to sort of go through sort of some hierarchy. And I'll show you that in just a second. We created an assistant governor network where we're bringing our assistant governors throughout the zones together monthly for Zoom networking calls. We have joined a partnership with an organization called Just Serve, where you can post and find service projects in your areas. We have fantastic resource pages on our website where you can get all sorts of information. And this last year, we offered 4 different membership action plan trainings, which were absolutely amazing. Our membership coordinators, our zone membership coordinators created they're online, they were Zoom trainings And each training had about 300 attendees from clubs. This is training for clubs to help clubs create membership action plans. Hugely popular. And amazing trainings. I staffed the first two, which means I worked the behind the scenes Zoom, probably one of the best trainings I've ever seen, virtual trainings. So they'll keep those going next year because they were just so incredibly popular and really, really effective, knowing that membership is one of the most significant challenges our clubs face. So let me just share the website with you. Let's see if it's going to cooperate. There we go. Did it just switch over, we hope? Are you seeing the website?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is our zone website. Pretty clean. There you see some of the stats that I just quoted. This is where you can get to the newsletter. If you don't want to subscribe, you can read a PDF version of it right on our website. These are just some kind of quick links to some of our major portions of the website. This is a quick link to Expert Hub. So let me show you that first. And you can link to Expert Hub sort of every which way on the website. So this is Expert Hub, which is divided into 7 main areas. And you sort of should recognize most of these just as main areas of Rotary. And so really the idea is to find things through topic that so let's say you need some assistance in a Rotary Foundation topic. If I click that, it'll bring up subtopics within Rotary Foundation. And so you'll see all kinds of different subtopics that we have specialists for in each subtopic. So if I click on endowment major gifts, it will bring up specialists that have expertise in endowment and major gifts. And I can just scroll down and see Marge and Tom and Elizabeth and Steve and read their bios and look at their specialties. And let's say, wow, Shirley's got it going on with a lot of expertise. I want to contact Shirley. I can hit contact us, brings up a contact form, and this will send an email directly to Shirley. And so at that point, Shirley can respond, and I'm in direct email contact with Shirley. So if I have a question, if I need assistance, if I want to do, let's say, a major fundraiser, around endowment and major gifts or something like that, and I need assistance, then you can reach out to these folks and get assistance directly. And so it's a really, really useful tool. We're really excited about it. We're about to upgrade this. A lot of the upgrades will sort of be behind the scenes, having to do with tracking and evaluation and things like that, which excites us from an administrative point of view. But we're also expanding the number of specialists. The upgrade is needed because right now we have a cap of 100 specialists, and we're about to reach that cap. And so we need to upgrade in order to go over that cap, because we're about to reach that cap. And so this is open to you. So it's a really great tool. So the other thing on our website is our resource pages. So if you click on resources, there's a drop down. And so we have resource pages for all kinds of things. Let me just profile public image, because the public image coordinators have really been doing some great things with their public image resources and upgrading a lot of this. And so we have a new public image resource guide. If you click on that, it'll bring it up with links to all sorts of public image resources. They've created public image tools on Canva that you can directly download. So all kinds of incredible resources right on the Zone website. And same thing for any of these polio resources. Same thing for any of these pages that you can go on. And it's, instead of having to sort of search everywhere, you know, on the Rotary International website or others. We try to make it just really easy and convenient. Links to the Zone Institute, other events, etc. So I encourage you to go check it out and see. Whoops, I got to get back to the slideshow. See what's there. Did it return to the slideshow okay?
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. And just to see what's on that website, because a lot of great resources directly for clubs, which is our goal. We've loved our district governors, but we've also learned over the years that we give our district governors information and they're so busy. They have so many tasks to do. They're just so swamped that if we depend on our district governors to pass all that information down to the clubs, it just doesn't happen. They're just too busy. And so our goal is to get information directly to our clubs at the zone level. And so we're constantly looking for new ways to do that. How can we convey information directly to our clubs where it's most useful to them? And our governors. Not trying to go around the governors. Governors know and bless everything we're doing. But if we try to funnel everything through our governors, it just doesn't work. They're just too busy. So let me share with you to end a couple sort of exciting things going on in the zone world that I thought you would be interested in. There's two pilot projects that were created by they were actually created by a committee, a Rotary International committee, and blessed by the Rotary International board. And these are 5-year pilot projects just to try out some new things in the world. And these are going on in the zone that encompasses Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Islands, and the zone that encompasses Great Britain and Ireland, which is kind of its own Rotary entity in and of itself. And they're pretty exciting pilot projects. And so we're watching really closely, especially the one in Zone 8, which is Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Islands. This one is very, very different. And I don't have time to go into all the details, so I'll just give you an overview. It's just kind of a taste of what's going on because it's pretty interesting and pretty different. So what they're doing there is they're literally creating a completely different organizational structure for that zone. And so instead of having traditional districts and the way our clubs are organized into districts within the zones, they're reorganized, and each district has a district governor like we're used to. They're taking that zone and they're reorganizing into regions, which are governed by regional councils and support committees. And so they'll no longer have a district governor running districts. It's sort of that traditional hierarchical structure with the district governor sort of trying to do so much and that traditional structure. It'll be regional councils and supported by committees. The regions will be divided into different sections with 10 to 30 clubs in each. And those clubs will be sort of self-selecting into those sections according to however they decide to do it. It could be by interest. It could be by geography. So they're really letting the clubs make a lot of decisions about how they want to self-organize into those different sections. A lot of sort of self-determination into how they want to organize into this. So really interesting model. And they're really trying to flatten the organization from the very hierarchy structure of the district governor down into a very sort of committee-based structure. One of the goals is to have more direct access to resources for clubs and Rotary members, and also to create more leadership opportunities and more diverse leadership opportunities for members. And they're going to have those committees that I mentioned will be shared leadership opportunities between Rotary members and Rotaract members. And so to bring those two groups together in those leadership opportunities. So very, very different structure. And so they're creating those structures now. I mentioned Expert Hub. They actually met with us on a Zoom meeting. They had heard about Expert Hub. We had a big Zoom meeting with their leadership, showed them Expert Hub. And Expert Hub was created for us by a company called Boiling Point. We contract with them. They're taking the concept of Expert Hub, expanding that. They're calling it something else, and they're going to be using basically Expert Hub, calling it something else, to bring those resources directly to their clubs and members. So they're using Expert Hub sort of to have that direct access to resources. It's a pretty exciting concept. And so it's going to be a really different concept. It's a pilot project. They're going to test it out and see how it works. The governors are sort of still going to be there, but they'll just be kind of in the background. And so we'll see how it works. It's very, very different. What's driving this is that Zone 8, similar to what we're seeing in the United States, but even worse, has had a significant drop in membership over the last decade. Really, really bad drop in membership. And so they decided, hey, we've got to try something different. And so they want to try this, and Rotary International blessed it. So all eyes are going to kind of be on them to see if it works, but pretty interesting. So they'll be transitioning from districts to regions with it. The other pilot is in Great Britain and Ireland, and they've been doing innovative things with membership models for a long time now, for several years now. But they have a new goal. It's called the North Star Project, and their goal is to add 60,000 new members by 2028. So their pilot project is around membership innovation. One of the new things that they're piloting is called a large corporation membership program, where they're going into big corporations to start Rotary clubs within those large corporations. So clubs just within the companies. They've had corporate members, a corporate member model for a long time, but this is actually Rotary clubs embedded in large corporations that they're piloting. The other model, which is really interesting that they're piloting, is called a direct membership model, where they're piloting a membership model where somebody can join Rotary but not be a member of a club, where it's sort of this direct membership where and they meet online. It's not an e-club, because e-clubs are still a member of a district and a member of a club, geographic. They're attached to a district. This is a direct membership model where they're not actually a member of a club or a district. And so they're piloting this to see how it works. And so far people are very interested with it. And so if it catches on, it could be a really interesting model that Rotary might look at with it. And then they're really promoting and pushing clubs to consider, especially new clubs, to form around various club models and a lot of flexibility, not only traditional clubs, but passport, cause-based clubs, corporate clubs, and alumni-based clubs, interest-based clubs, e-clubs, really to push the envelope and to get creative with the types of clubs that can be formed and that are now allowed by Rotary. And so what they're doing in Great Britain and Ireland is all around different types of memberships and being flexible in memberships and trying out new things around membership. So pretty exciting things happening there. So, but we all coalesce around our vision statement, which is together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. So this will never change. And with that, I will stop sharing and take any questions you may have. Yes.
Lots of questions. Can you go back to the slides?
Sure.
To the pilot programs.
Yes, I'm not sure I can answer any questions about the pilots, but I will try. Which one?
Zone 8.
Yeah, go to zone 8. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so regional councils would be kind of like, I'm assuming kind of like the district governor and his board, I guess, but different titles or just.
No, my understanding is no district governor. It would be a regional council that
the council-
wouldn't have a single leader.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
The councils would have to fill those roles, kind of those roles to get those jobs done, I would think, right?
Yes. Yeah. The councils, yes, the councils would fill the roles that like the traditional district positions would fill now, but not just the councils, their support committees would fill those roles as well. And so you're sort of not just the councils, but support committees also.
Okay,
Yeah, that's my understanding.
okay.
And I
Yeah.
also have a question about the Zone 8 project. So pilot projects generally have a time frame. Is there a time frame for this one? Like,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
5-year project and they've been in a planning stage and I think they're in year 1 now. So
Okay.
they haven't kicked it off. They haven't implemented everything yet. They're still putting everything together. Yeah,
probably
but
this
these are
coming
that's
Rotary-
both.
It'll start this coming Rotary year, I'm assuming.
I looked at their timeline. I'm trying to remember. It's a phased implementation.
Okay,
So yeah, I don't remember when it actually it doesn't all sort of all of a sudden kick in. It's a phased implementation. So there's a couple years where the district governor is still involved and then they sort of go
Okay.
into the background. Yeah, it's a phased implementation.
okay.
Yeah.
So I see the one of the benefits is to really combine Rotary and Rotaract. I like that. One of the concerns I've heard is that people won't know who to go to for certain things. So if there's not those specific titles, so we'll see.
Yeah, they have,
It
I
comes up.
think that'll be clear. I mean, they have committees working on everything.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They spent a long time just mapping out how to plan this and how to do this. It's really thorough what they're planning. I'm sure there'll be, growing pains, but that's why it's a 5-year,
Right,
map. But they've been working on it way before the 5 years,
right.
just to plan out, and they have committees working on all aspects of it. Not even this, they have committees working on just planning how to do it, how to implement it.
Right.
So all the planning teams and planning committees and things like that. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they have really smart people working on it. They have a whole team just working on the technical security aspects of it.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty impressive. They have some really smart people working on it.
Then I have a question about the direct membership idea. It's
Ditto. Go.
interesting and weird. So it seems like it's going to be an almost virtual membership because you're not locality based. And then what is the goal for the members to actually do?
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around it, right? Because we're so used to being club based. So
Yeah.
they do meet virtually. And then the members, they also connect the members with clubs in their areas,
Yeah.
to be able to connect physically with clubs wherever that member is. And so they can join with other clubs to do projects if they want, or to go to club meetings if they want, so if the member does want to connect that way, they can. So, because they're still a Rotarian, so they could be a visiting Rotarian at a club meeting or to join another club as a project.
Like an
So,
at-large membership,
Yeah.
what was that?
an at-large membership.
Exactly. It is an at-large membership.
That's
Yeah.
the idea then.
Yeah. It basically is an at-large membership. And it's a really interesting idea, especially for folks who, they call it a direct membership, but it's especially for folks who tend to travel a lot or move around a lot. And if you think about it, a lot of e-clubs are basically at-large membership. They're just, e-clubs are still attached to a district, but they're still, you know, they're a lot of e-clubs have people that are members all over the world.
Right.
You know, they're just attached to a particular district. And so it's you know, an at-large membership may be a really a thing of the future to consider. The, you know, the issue, what may make it attractive is a much lower cost,
I was gonna
is
say.
you're not having to pay district dues. You know, if I'm in an e-club, excuse me, and you know, you know, I live in South America, but my e-club happens to be in Hawaii. Why am I paying district dues to the district in Hawaii, right? You know, wherever. So an at-large membership could really make sense to a lot of folks.
Yeah.
You know, so, and why would, if I have an e-club, why would you pay district dues? You know, so a lot of it really could make sense. So it's an interesting pilot project.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
have any way to suggest it, change it to at-large membership. It makes more sense mentally than direct membership, which is kind of like at-large. I get that kind of, I would have had to ask that question.
Yeah, and I don't know why GB and I named it you know, direct membership. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. But yeah, I thought you guys might be interested in those two pilot projects because they're kind of, it's tough to wrap. When we met with them over Expert Hub, it was like, wait, what are you doing? I mean, it's really a little tough to, we're just so used to what we are and our structure and our club-based and district governors. It's just really tough to kind of wrap our heads around it. I think it'll be easier for us to understand, especially the Australia model, once we see it implemented.
Right.
You know, I'd love to, and I think we will go back with the team once it's implemented and sort of see how it's implemented and how it's going, you know, and regroup with them. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for the other one, the direct membership, I was like, well, what's the benefit if you're not attached to a club? But then the lower dues.
It's lower dues, and if you move, especially for folks that tend to move around a lot, or tend to travel a lot, you can stay a member wherever you go.
Right.
And
You
I
don't have
think
to worry
that's
about
that's one of the real benefits. Yeah, yeah.
Doing, he's doing.
it.
Yeah, that's one of the real benefits. You can be a Rotary member wherever you go, wherever you live, wherever you are.
Have to deal with applications and approvals and yada yada.
exactly, and move about, exactly, and be a large member. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
But that's it for my presentation.
Yes,
So
thank you.
better understanding of what in the world a zone is.
Yes, helps a lot.
We're the best kept secret.
I knew what it sounded, but it was really great.
Vaguely.
But it's really great to hear about the pilot projects in more detail and stuff. So
Great. And I encourage you to go to the,
the resources.
yeah,
That's
go to the zone website. A lot of great resources, especially if you're doing, you know, a project or want to learn more about the foundation, or just, you know, need resources or need somebody to reach out to. Expert Hub is just a great resource for that.
yeah,
Excellent.
nice.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Deborah.